Hi girls and boys. Today we're going to read Corduroy by Don Freeman. I just love this book. Corduroy's such a nice little bear. Let's focus on the characters in Corduroy. When we read a book, we should be able to talk about the characters. Characters are people or animals that play an important part in the story. Corduroy, story and pictures by Don Freeman. So Don Freeman is the author and the illustrator in this book. Corduroy is a bear who once lived in the toy department of a big store. Day after day, he waited with all the other animals and dolls for somebody to come along and take him home. The store was always filled with shoppers buying all sorts of things, but no one ever seemed to want a small bear in green overalls. Then one morning, a little girl stopped and looked straight into Corduroy's bright eyes. "Oh, Mommy," she said, "look, there's the very bear I've always wanted." "Not today, dear," her mother sighed. "I've spent too much already. Besides, he doesn't look new. He's lost a button to one of his shoulder straps." And her mom's right. He is missing a button. Corduroy watched them sadly as they walked away. "I didn't know I'd lost a button," he said to himself. "Tonight, I'll go and see if I can find it." Late that evening, when all the shoppers had gone and the doors were shut and locked, Corduroy climbed carefully down from his shelf and began searching everywhere on the floor for his lost button. Suddenly, he felt the floor moving under him. Quite by accident, he had stepped onto an escalator, and up he went. Could this be a mountain? He wondered. I think I've always wanted to climb a mountain. He stepped off the escalator as it reached the next floor, and there, before his eyes, was a most amazing sight. Tables and chairs and lamps and sofas and rows of beds. "This must be a palace," Corduroy gasped. "I guess I've always wanted to live in a palace." He wandered around admiring the furniture. "This must be a bed," he said. "I've always wanted to sleep in a bed." And up he crawled onto a large, thick mattress. All at once he saw something small and round. "Why, here's my button," he cried, and he tried to pick it up. But, like all the other buttons on the mattress, it was tied down tight. He yanked and pulled with both paws until, pop! Off came the button, and off the mattress Corduroy toppled. Bang! Into a tall floor lamp. Over it fell with a crash. Corduroy didn't know it, but there was someone else awake in the store. The night watchman was going his rounds on the floor above. When he heard the crash, he came dashing down the escalator. "Now who in the world did that?" he exclaimed. "Somebody must be hiding around here." Is there somebody hiding? Who is it? Well, who have we met in the story already? We met our main character, Corduroy. He's on every page. This story is about him. He's the main character. But we've met a couple other characters. We met the little girl and her mom. Remember the little girl She wanted to buy Corduroy, and her mom said no. And then we met the Night Watchman. Out of all those characters, who do you think might be hiding? Who is it? The Night Watchman flashed his light under and over sofas and beds until he came to the biggest bed of all, and there he saw 2 fuzzy brown ears sticking up from under the cover. "Hello," he said. "How did you get upstairs?" It was Corduroy. The watchman tucked Corduroy under his arm and carried him down the escalator. And he set him on the shelf in the toy department with the other animals and dolls. Are the other animals and dolls characters? You're right, they're not. Remember, we said a character was somebody or something that is very important in the story. Characters talk and characters do things. Do these other animals and toys talk or do things? No, they don't. So they are not characters. So far, the only characters we met were Corduroy, the watchman, the little girl, and the little girl's mom. Corduroy was just waking up when the first customers came into the store in the morning, and there, looking at him with a wide, warm smile, was the same little girl he'd seen only the day before. "I'm Lisa," she said, "and you're going to be my very own bear. Last night, I counted what I've saved in my piggy bank, and my mother said I could bring you home." So the same character came back, and now we know her name. What's her name? Lisa. You're right, it's Lisa. "Shall I put him in a box for you?" the sales lady asked. "Oh, no, thank you," Lisa answered, and she carried Corduroy home in her arms. She ran all the way up 4 flights of stairs, into her family's apartment, and straight to her own room. She must have been very excited. Now, is the sales lady very important in the story? Have we seen her on more than one page? Did she do a lot of talking? We only saw her once, and she only talked once. She's a character, but she's not an important character. Some of our characters are more important than others. Corduroy is the main character, so he's very important. Is there another character that we've seen on lots of different pages? Let's find out who else is very important in this story. Corduroy blinked. There was a chair and a chest of drawers, and alongside a girl-sized bed stood a little bed, just the right size for him. The room was small, nothing like that enormous palace in the department store. "This must be home," he said. "I know. I've always wanted a home." Lisa sat down with Corduroy on her lap and began to sew a button on his overalls. "I like you the way you are," she said, "but you'll be more comfortable with your shoulder strap fastened." So she's fixing it. She's giving him a button and she's sewing it on so that he'll be more comfortable, because she cares about him. Have we seen Lisa on more than one page? We have. She's a character, and she's an important character just like Corduroy. "You must be a friend," said Corduroy. "I've always wanted a friend." "Me too," said Lisa, and gave him a big hug. So who are the most important characters in this book? Corduroy, he's the main character. And Lisa, she's very important too. we have two other characters that play important parts. Lisa's mother played an important part, even though she was just on a couple of pages. She played the part of saying that Lisa couldn't get her that first day. She played the part of making sure that Corduroy knew that he was missing his button. If she hadn't said that to him about his button, he never would have known. And he wouldn't have gone looking. And if he hadn't gone looking, we never would have met another character. Which character did we meet because he was looking for his button? That's right, after he toppled or fell off the bed, it made a loud crash with the lamp, and he hid, and we met the watchman. So those are our four characters that we have to think about in this book. If you are going to retell the story of Corduroy, you would definitely want to be able to tell us what happened in the beginning, what happened in the middle, and what happened at the end. But you would also want to be able to tell us about the characters. Corduroy is the main character, and Lisa is also very important. Lisa's mom and the watchman are two characters that also play important parts. Thank you so much for reading Corduroy with me and thinking about characters.